So that's a huge thing. And what I used to do too when I was setting up ProPresenter stuff is I would often go in here and also add in blank slides. Now they've already done it because the bridge has no lyrics. There's blank slides for the bridge, which is fantastic. But sometimes I would have, even between a verse and a chorus, there might be a long turnaround, or there might be something that just is awkward. So I might drag in a couple of blank slides at places where there's long breaks, like that, okay? So at this point now, I've got the song in my service. I've got it arranged the way that I want. I've got a background selected for it. I've got a template selected for the lyrics, and I've got a, my blank slide at the end got lost when I changed my arrangement, but we'll do edit slide. No, that wasn't what we did. Remind me how we got to the blank slide view.
You can copy and paste the blank slide would be the quickest way to do it.
Probably so. No, we did this. We did do the plus, add new blank slide. That's what we did.
Yeah, it's the other way.
All right. Oh, it did leave. I just didn't scroll down far enough. It did leave our blank at the end. Oh no, sorry. I was highlighted on here, so it added it. All right. So I've got my blank slide at the end. All right. Now I'm basically good to go. Now here is. This is probably like as far as you would need to go in ProPresenter 6. Like this is kind of your standard Sunday morning deal. This is where now we kind of go to a new level with ProPresenter 7 because we have a function in ProPresenter 7 called actions. And what actions do is they are triggers to start something that I can have living on a slide. And there's a huge variety of things that it can do. So right now, I'm just going to click on my first slide and I'm going to add an action. Okay? And the first action that I'm going to add is I'm going to add an audience look. All right? And right now, we haven't built any audience looks yet, so let's go look at audience looks. All right, so this is where it starts to be fun. So we have, because we created 3 different outputs, right? We've got main projectors, we've got stream, and we've got auxiliary screens, all right? We can choose what gets sent to those screens, and then we can save that as a preset, okay? So we know that when the band starts playing, on their regular worship set for first thing Sunday morning. So let's just say we're going to say this is the first song of the worship set for Sunday morning. We know that when we hit that first slide, we want to trigger a particular combination of things being sent to these screens. All right. So here's what I do. I decide in this look, what do I want to send to the main projectors? Well, I want to send everything to the main projectors, right? Because I could be playing video clips, I could be doing anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave everything going to the main projectors, except I don't want to play announcements. The reason I don't want to play announcements is because I could actually create an announcement reel, have it running in the background, going to the foyer TV, and that plays on that layer right there. So if I had this clicked and I had an announcement roll playing for the foyer TV, it would actually cover up, because it's higher on my layers, it would actually cover up what's going to my main screens. All right, so I'm going to unclick announcements. All right, going to the stream. The only thing that I want going to the stream is my slide. And here's why. Because when I start streaming, when the worship team starts playing, remember, we don't want a full screen background showing to the people at home. We want video, right? And remember, I showed you in that in our screen configuration, I showed you where it had the alpha key function where we could send lyrics over there to the video switcher, right? So that's what I'm concerned about. On the stream, the only information I want going to the streaming output is the lyrics. Because Once the lyrics get over there to the video switcher, they're going to do the rest. They're going to bring in the camera video, all that stuff, and they're just going to take my lyrics, put it on top of that video, and that's going to go out to the stream, right? So the only thing going to that streaming output is lyrics. Auxiliary screens, let's just say for now that we want an announcement roll that stays playing out in the foyer even after the worship set has started. I know that you never have people that come late. But if people happen to come late, we could do this so that the auxiliary screens, and this is just a sample, we can make this whatever we want. But for right now, we're just going to say that the only thing going out to the auxiliary screens is that announcement loop that we have going, okay? So I've got that set up now, and I'm going to save this. I'm going to save it as, we're just going to call this worship. Okay? And also, you can see that I made changes right here. And as far as ProPresenter knows, we're in a service. So it's trying to be careful. It doesn't want to make real-time changes by me clicking on these buttons, and it doesn't want to send those changes out until it knows for sure that that's what we want, right? So it saves the preset, but I have to click this button to make it live. And then it will show you up here that the live preset that's working right now is the worship preset. Okay? All right, so I've created this preset. Now, let's go back here and look at our actions. I'm going to add an action that is an audience look, and it's going to be worship. And you can see my little icon showed up here, which is my little mustache guy. I don't know why they chose that. But what that means is, as soon as I click that slide, all of those video settings that I made changes to took effect over here. So that means the main projectors are getting, so let's just go to the next slide here. All right, main projectors are getting their normal deal. They're getting everything. Stream is getting only the lyrics, right? And auxiliary screens are getting only announcements. Right now there's no announcements running. Okay, so I triggered that look with that action, and that action will stay in place all the way up until I have another action that tells it to change to a different look. So basically, if you think about your Sunday morning service, you're probably going to have an action that sets a look for pre-service. Because in pre-service, you might want your announcements reel to be playing on the main projectors, let's just say, right? Then you've got another, probably another look change that would be maybe for the sermon time. And that may change what's going to the screens in the foyer. Because let's just say now okay, if you haven't made it by the time the worship set is over, we don't have to have the announcement roll out there anymore. Now we're going to send pastor's video out to the foyer, right? So that may be a change that we make. That would be the preaching look or the sermon look.
We'll also have pre-service going in the foyer while we're doing rehearsal.
Correct. Yeah. So you could have you'd have a pre-service look, right? That would include that. So you're going to probably in the course of Sunday morning, you're going to have 3 or 4 of these look changes. And the thing to remember is that once you change that look, until you have made an action on another slide somewhere and clicked it, it stays, right? So one of the things that happens sometimes is you're running through songs and you get down to the end and you kind of fell behind getting out of the last song, and now pastor's up on stage and oh my goodness, he's already introducing the theme for his sermon, and you skip ahead a couple slides in his sermon and click the first point. Well, that's fine. For the people in the room, they got what they needed, but my look didn't change because I had my look action on the first slide of the sermon set, right? So any place that you have placed those actions, you got to make sure as you're going through the service that you click that slide before you go on.
So those are automatic on the first.
Well, you can put them
Wherever
anywhere you
you
want.
put
You can literally put them anywhere you want. Right. So what I would do, just to give you an example, when I was doing this, with our portable church, we didn't have, we had a very small volunteer team. We didn't have a dedicated light person. So I had actions in the song that were actually lighting cues, and it would send out a command to our lighting software and trigger a preset on our lighting software. So that as we went through the song, it would literally just change us, might have a different look for the chorus than it did in the verses or whatever. There are so many different things you can do. So the next thing that we're going to do here then is let's look at some other actions that we could do here. I could change our stage display. This is a big one.
That's one that I actually used in 6.
Right. Yep.
This past week for the Christmas program, because with the drama guys wanted their words on the back.
Yeah.
So we actually had experience with that one this
Yeah.
past week.